On April 7, 2025, American Airlines Flight 198 embarked on what should have been a routine journey from the bustling hub of John F. Kennedy International Airport to the heart of Milan, Italy. Hundreds of passengers settled into their seats, eager to embark on vacations, business trips, or long-awaited reunions with loved ones. The air buzzed with anticipation, a mix of excitement and the comforting hum of the aircraft preparing for takeoff. Little did they know, however, that their transatlantic adventure would take an unexpected and unsettling turn, transforming their journey into a story that would dominate headlines and spark conversations about passenger conduct and airline safety. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the tarmac, Flight 198 taxied away from the gate, the Manhattan skyline shrinking into the distance as the plane climbed into the evening sky. The first few hours of the flight passed without incident. Passengers enjoyed in-flight entertainment, chatted with their seatmates or drifted off to sleep, lulled by the drone of the engines. But somewhere over the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, a storm was brewing. Not in the meteorological sense, but within the confines of the aircraft cabin. What began as a seemingly minor dispute over meal choices and seating arrangements would quickly escalate into a full-blown crisis, jeopardizing the safety and well-being of everyone on board. The incident aboard Flight 198 serves as a stark reminder of the challenges faced by airlines and aviation authorities in an era marked by an alarming increase in unruly passenger behavior. It highlights the need for continued vigilance, improved protocols, and a deeper understanding of the factors that contribute to such incidents. As the investigation into this particular event unfolds, the lessons learned will undoubtedly shape the future of air travel, prompting a reassessment of safety measures, passenger screening processes, and the delicate balance between individual liberties and the collective security of everyone on board. The first sign of trouble emerged just a few hours into the flight when a male passenger became visibly agitated over the meal options presented by the flight attendants. According to eyewitness accounts, the passenger, whose identity has not been officially released, became increasingly vocal in his dissatisfaction, demanding alternative choices that were not readily available. The situation grew more tense when the passenger, traveling with an infant, expressed frustration over his assigned seat in the exit row. Passengers seated nearby reported hearing raised voices and witnessing heated exchanges between the man and members of the cabin crew. Flight attendants trained to de-escalate tense situations attempted to reason with the disgruntled passenger, offering apologies and exploring alternative solutions within the constraints of the flight. However, their efforts proved futile as the man's anger continued to mount. Whispers rippled through the cabin as fellow passengers exchanged uneasy glances, sensing that the situation was spiraling out of control. The once tranquil atmosphere was replaced by an undercurrent of anxiety, the unspoken fear that the man's unpredictable behavior could jeopardize the safety of the entire flight. As the man's agitation escalated, so too did the concern among his fellow passengers. Christy Tomlinson, a passenger on Flight 198, recounted the growing sense of unease in a post-incident interview with the Daily Voice, stating, "You could feel the tension in the air. People were whispering, wondering what was going to happen next." Tomlinson, who witnessed a scuffle between the unruly passenger and flight attendants, described the scene as chaotic and frightening. Another passenger, Michael Sigliano, shared similar observations, noting that the initial announcements from the cockpit cited technical issues, which he later realized was an attempt to downplay the severity of the situation. Sigliano, who witnessed the man charging toward the front of the plane, unrestrained by flight attendants, expressed concern over the lack of communication and transparency from the airline during the ordeal. The accounts provided by Tomlinson, Sigliano, and other passengers paint a vivid picture of the escalating tension and fear that gripped those on board Flight 198. Their testimonies highlight the challenges faced by both passengers and crew members when confronted with an individual exhibiting disruptive and potentially dangerous behavior. The incident serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerability felt by those confined within the metal tube of an aircraft hurtling through the sky at 30,000 feet, where even seemingly minor disputes can quickly escalate into serious security concerns. Section 4. Chaos in the cabin. A charge for the cockpit. The situation reached a critical point when the unruly passenger, fueled by a volatile mix of anger and frustration, made a desperate and dangerous move. According to eyewitness accounts and subsequent reports, The man, in a moment of unhinged aggression, bolted from his seat and charged towards the front of the aircraft, his sights set on breaching the cockpit door. Panic swept through the cabin as passengers watched in horror, their worst fears seemingly realized. Flight attendants, some physically struggling with the enraged man, issued desperate pleas for assistance, their voices echoing through the loudspeaker system, calling for police and even military assistance. The man's attempt to storm the cockpit, while ultimately unsuccessful, sent shockwaves through the aircraft and the broader aviation community. It raised chilling questions about the vulnerability of the cockpit door, a symbol of security and a last line of defense against potential threats. The incident underscored the need for continued vigilance and enhanced security measures to prevent similar breaches in the future. The actions of the flight attendants who bravely confronted the out-of-control passenger, putting themselves in harm's way to protect the safety of others, have been widely praised. Their courageous response serves as a testament to the critical role that cabin crew members play in ensuring the well-being of passengers and maintaining order during in-flight emergencies.